Hi everyone, welcome to 3 Cups Tarot. On this channel, I do readings intended to uplift and guide the collective to their highest path. And so today I'm revisiting a recording that I did several months ago at this point for the Year of the Snake. I just had some technical issues and I never got around to editing and uploading it. And so maybe it's all in the right timing of the universe that I am doing it now. But I did want to share these readings because I thought they were really insightful, relevant, important. I felt a lot of Scorpio energy in these readings with the Year of the Snake. I'm not super sure if that is typical to associate those elements, the Year of the Snake with Scorpio, but I really felt that strongly, this sense of transformation, shedding, to do with the snake. And if you have any kind of strong Scorpio placements, that's something to pay attention to this year, 2025. And also the Scorpio season, I feel like, is going to be very important for all of us, working towards that higher transcendence, that transformation in our physical experiences too. So these are the 4 readings you can choose from. Of course, you can always choose more than one, but just see what draws you from maybe the words, the colors, the energies, the actions that are happening in each card, even the numbers. But so for reading 1, we have Allow, Accepting All Parts of You, number 22. For reading 2, we have Wild Energy, Focusing Your Creative Power, number 13. For reading 3, we have Future Self, Connecting with What's to Come, number 31. I believe it's kind of small. It might be 34. And then last we have Grounding, Rooting in the Power of Your Purpose, number 3. So pause the video if you need some time to reflect, and you can find your reading after that in the timestamps below, and I will see you ahead. If you want to stay on for a bit longer though, I will include here the introduction that I originally recorded because I had channeled some expectations for the year ahead collectively, so that will come next, or you can skip ahead to the reading you've chosen. So before we get to the picking part, I wanted to talk a bit about the year ahead and the energies that I've been feeling. Tapping into my intuition on this part, but also drawing from some of the research that I've done on the wood snake. So the first thing I want to mention is that it feels to me to be more of a drawing inward energetically type of year. So one of the characteristics of the snake is to work alone rather than one of these more team-based zodiacs. So it's not necessarily about isolating yourself, but more about getting into your own energy, feeling what that's like, stabilizing, cultivating the environment around you, and growing a sense of stability for yourself. What it feels like is to launch into the years ahead, so you have a solid base on who you are, what is yours, what's around you, and your sense of center, your sense of foundation, before in the next years you start to branch out and maybe expand again and make connections, collaborate. This feels a lot more about cultivating the home, cultivating the self for this year. It's a very kind of, I will say it's a steady and calm and I want to say meticulous, but also persistent type of energy. Methodical is really the word. Methodical type of energy that's coming through. So whatever it is that you find yourself working towards this year, it could be like your health, your career, your home, your relationships, or yourself spiritually and emotionally or psychologically, that will be done, that will be kind of blessed by a very slow, methodical, and thoughtful process. I was also reading that the snakes are problem solvers. So you might be working through a very big problem in your life, inch by inch, step by step, getting somewhere very far in the end by the end of the year. I was also reading that the wood is representative of yin energies with the snake, which symbolizes resilience and growth and pliability characteristics of wood. So there's a sense of you being able to understand your environment around you and understand yourself, adapt to the situation, and flourish under the conditions, rather than struggling when you encounter obstacles. You're going to be finding ways to work around them and to live a beautiful life, with the perceived obstacles ahead of you. I think the last thing to say probably about snakes is that they're mostly interpreted for the symbolism of shedding skin, right? So there's going to be a lot of evolving on many levels. It kind of feels like the final part of an evolution. If you've been evolving yourself in some way, say you're letting go of things that don't serve you, and this can happen on a broader scale too, society moving on from traditions or ways of doing things that don't really work or don't make sense in the way the world is heading now. This is really kind of the final shedding of the skin that I feel, to a complete transformation of the self or of the society. So old skin is coming off, metaphorically, and you are stepping fully 100% into that new self, whether that's on a personal level, community, or societal level. These transformations, these evolutions, these steps up, maybe you could say ascensions, are happening in the year of the snake. So I think that's really exciting. It's a little bit of a slower pace energy, but I'm inviting it this year, ready to kind of root and rest and evolve in that way. So let's see what the messages kind of bring to us in their individual interpretations of the four groups. Hi, reading one. So you were drawn to this card, Allow, which says accepting all parts of you, and it has number 22. And so you see what looks like to me like a younger girl petting a snake, and the snake looking very innocent. It's very beautiful, and I see like some streaks coming down from above to her head. So I'm taking that as guidance, claircognizance, connecting to the light, and spiritual communication, which is helping her to know it's okay to pet this snake. Maybe not all snakes, but to pet this snake in particular. So I'm taking this as you are very guided for this year of the snake, particularly by snake energies. And there's something that you are afraid of in the external, which translates into something you are afraid of within you. And so you can think of it this way. Say, for example, this girl has always been afraid of snakes, encountering a snake in nature her whole life. But little did she know that it also kind of represents for her a fear of encountering something chaotic and unpredictable within herself that she doesn't understand. So the snake represents like chaos and unpredictability, but it was not just limited to the snake. There was something else internal going on. I'm not a therapist or a psychologist. This is the message that feels like it's coming through right now, particularly looking at this nature scene, right, with something external going on, and then looking at the message which says accepting all parts of you. So in the spiritual growth sense, this would be integrating a shadow aspect to your life. This is a really key theme for you in the year of the snake, the wood snake. I love that it's year of the wood snake and it looks like they're in the woods. There's something very gentle feeling about this too, like growth oriented, something very nourishing about the forest and nature to help this growth along. It's like a safe space. I feel that the year of the snake for you is a safe little space, like a bubble almost, for you to just take a breather and allow yourself to like get into the shadow aspects, heal them, accept them, and integrate them into who you are, rather than expending all this energy and keeping them on the perimeters, and actually not being able to fully identify as yourself until you do integrate those shadow aspects. So that's your opportunity really for the year of the snake. Even though it sounds like work, which it is, it's beautiful work, and it benefits you so much when you've reached that point of integration that you can kind of move forward with a piece of yourself back in, move forward a little bit more whole in your life. So number 22 would likely be significant for you through the year. If you see repeating 2s or 22 in specific, pay attention to those as communications from your spirit guides. And 22 is also the master builder number. Yeah. So I see that as you mastering the building of yourself spiritually, and also that can translate, because you have those energies with you, it could translate to mastering anything else you want to build in the year. So it doesn't have to be a start and completion within the year. It could be, say, you want to build your education. This is a great year to start that. If you've been considering it, or you wanted to build a business, this is a great year to launch that as you go about with this other transformational journey, because you're doing a lot of transformational work this year. It's like you can take that template and put it to other parts of your life, say your business, say your studies, and it's going to flow into those areas as well as it's flowing into your internal work too. So these are just all, I read cards not as a set destiny, but more as the energies that are shifting into your life and that are available to you right now. So that's why I combine astrology into my readings. So everything I'm communicating, think of it as a choice. It's an opportunity there for you to take advantage of, or it's a vulnerability or a risk to be mindful of. That's kind of how I read the cards. So I just felt like, I almost never say that, but I just felt like I needed to say that in this reading, that it's all at your discretion, at your direction that this goes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what I just pulled. I accept all of myself, because remember here, allow, accepting all parts of you. Yeah, that's really strongly coming through. Thank you for that guidance, that clear guidance. So really, acceptance of yourself is your major opportunity this year. I'm going to pull one more self-love card for guidance for the year. I am open and receptive to all good. So I see a relationship here between accepting yourself and possibly seeing yourself as good too. You know, I mean, there's good and bad, but maybe destigmatizing the idea of them as polar opposites and just seeing yourself collectively as a good person by accepting the bad as well. And here, I am open and receptive to all good also speaks to me of expanding your idea of what good means, reframing that for yourself. So like, if there's something that you've been telling yourself, you've been like, you're disappointed in yourself, or you have shame over, or you feel bad because of this behavior, reframing it for yourself to see the goodness that it brings to you and others. Because I feel the sense that you're over identifying it as a bad thing when you're neglecting to see the good it does for you and for others. So it could be something that, like, say you're ashamed of your family on some level, or your roots, and you're in your mind, maybe this is not super conscious for you, but maybe you consider it as like a bad aspect to you, your family background. You're being asked to go back and reframe that, and to kind of also integrate the good into the shadow. So it's not just you integrating the shadow into all of yourself. It's you integrating also what was good in that shadow as well. So say, for example, you had a difficult family background when you were being brought up as a child, but there were also happy memories, of maybe, say, like playing games together, or, like going out for doing something simple around the neighborhood. You're also being asked to integrate that and get a little bit more balance into your life, get a little more pliability and softness is really what I'm hearing here. So that you don't have these strict boundaries of good, bad, and it really kind of keeps you narrowly locked into kind of presenting a certain persona that's limiting you. There's something about your shadow aspect that your guides are asking you to integrate so that you can grow more spiritually. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards next to see if there's a storyline that comes in here to help out for our reading ones in Year of the Snake. Anything they can be guided by as they go through this spiritual transformation, this personal growth in the Year of the Snake. Queen of Swords, wonderful. 8 of Wands reverse, the High Priestess, wow. So your transformation is leading you into some great strengths of the Queen of Swords and the High Priestess. The 8 of Wands is here telling us that this is going to take a while. This is going to take the whole year, essentially. It's not going to happen overnight, but you are headed on your transformation to these two energies. So I'll start with the Queen of Swords. She is like very truthful, intellectual. She's good at judging a situation, discerning all working parts of a situation. So this is going to come in handy in terms of integrating your shadow, to look at it logically, rather than being overwhelmed by emotion when you look at this. So if your shadow aspect is being like driven by shame, which is an emotion, the Queen of Swords is going to help you maybe rationalize and work through step by step, maybe in partnership with a therapist, or self-help books, whatever tool you can find. The Queen of Swords is actually really great at finding tools and using them to accomplish your aims. You're going to get that clarity in the end. You're going to very precisely, like a surgeon, find that shadow aspect and learn and figure out how to work with it, how to accept it, how to integrate it on a very kind of like logical brain plane. So there's a part of you that's approaching the spiritual growth in a very intellectualized way, but then the High Priestess comes in and is almost the opposite, and she's a major arcana energy. So this is actually a bigger picture of what's going on, while the Queen of Swords is an earth energy that's manifesting in your personality. With the Queen of Swords, you may be an air sign. That would be extra confirmation to you. I'm drawn to this flower. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a chrysanthemum, but I also want to say peony, though I'm pretty sure it's not a peony. So chrysanthemum and peony are standing out as signs for you. as well as roses. So any of these flowers, when you see them, your guides are reminding you of the beautiful transformation that you're going through and the Queen of Swords that you're becoming. The High Priestess energy is also coming into you. It's more of like on a higher self plane. So, oh, this is great. So what's happening when you integrate your shadow is you're also connecting yourself, your earth self, to your higher self, your spiritual higher self, at the same time. That's the bigger work that's going on here. So yeah, when you see those flowers, that's a reminder of the bigger picture of what's happening when you do the hard work of integrating, allowing all parts of you, integrating the shadow. You're actually getting in closer communication with your higher self. I can't tell you how that works, but that's the message coming through. I think that's so beautiful. Yeah, for some reason, I just keep hearing Pisces. I just did a shorter Pisces reading. I made it as a short, so you might want to check that out, whether you have Pisces placements or not, or if you are a Pisces, you might really want to check out. I think there's a message in there for you. I cannot tell you what that message was when I'm channeling. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember even one card that I pulled for the Pisces. What was it? Wow. It might have been the Chariot. No. Okay, I'm not gonna mess it up, but just I'll try to link it here for you in reading one. The Pisces short that I recorded for Year of the Snake has a message there for you as well. Okay, High Priestess. I'm being drawn to the book. I think we mentioned this in the beginning. So if you were drawn to expand your knowledge, even go to formal schooling, this can even be like a, say like a spiritual, like coaching business or a spiritual community gathering where you expand your knowledge and learns, follow your curiosity to learn more. This is going to help you a lot too. So say for example, you go to one of these healing things, and this is actually how my spiritual journey unfolded. I started off knowing nothing and barely believing what was happening with me, but so I just took it step by step. I looked at the communities around me. There was some healing workshops to do with like Reiki energy. They had like an open house, so they had all sorts of things going on there with like crystals and meditation, sound healing. There was one person who did an inner child, like meet your inner child meditation, and so I signed up for that. And I was very surprised that I responded to that workshop. Something did happen for me in that workshop with my inner child. And so that expanded my knowledge and set me off towards healing my inner child, integrating the shadow aspects from that my inner child was holding on to. So, I mean, something like that, the inner child healing might be relevant to your shadow integration, but the bigger message here is that you will get some clues if you expand your knowledge as to how to go forward with integrating your shadow. You will also get clues from your intuition if you take time to tune in, to let everything else fall away and tune in and try to, I'm hearing listen to the guidance, so you might be clairaudient, but also we started here with claircognizance. So claircognizance is just kind of knowing. So you could start there. You might have recognized times where you just like, oh, you just know an answer. That would be considered claircognizance. So in terms of navigating yourself on this shadow healing journey, rely on your claircognizance, but also your clairaudience is what I'm feeling. And so this can be like actually hearing guidance in your internalized voice. It could be in your own voice. So sometimes with my clairaudience, it feels like things get very still and centered in my chest, my heart space. And then I hear in my own voice, like a very loving kind of motherly voice, like aspect to me, something very clearly of what to do or what not to do. if I'm like feeling overwhelmed by fear or flustered in a situation, if I try to tap into my higher self, I'll feel that in my heart space, kind of like a centralizing of my energy, and then I'll hear like very simply like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to pass your boundaries. It'll be something very like simple, direct, and clear. That's how it comes in for me. I just felt like sharing that with you because it may be the way that it comes in for you, and it will help you recognize that. Yeah, so relying on your clear guidance, tapping into that is really going to help navigate you through this as well. So you don't need to like think that you need to rely on external sources. You really can navigate yourself as well. Yeah, that's a wonderful overall message. I want to find some oracle cards to end with. So since you're healing, I'm going to take these conscious healing cards. You have Go Within, number 48. So just extra confirmation to go within and connect with your higher self, but also your inner voice, your inner self. Take that time to meditate, as we were saying. I'm gonna get an animal energy card. Bee and pomegranate, productivity, number 26. Bees speak to community, and pomegranates show up with the high priestess. So I think I want to interpret that as a recommendation to connect with that spiritual community to help you get in touch with that high priestess energy. I have never really interpreted that card this way before, but yeah, finding that spiritual community, but balancing that with also going within. It reminds me of this. I am open and receptive to all good. I think this is also asking you to trust other people that might offer you answers. Trust other knowledge that might also offer you answers. Making yourself receptive to the good that they have to offer is going to allow you to actually receive that. I'm going to end with this Be Your Own Magic card because you're very much on a self-empowerment journey. Lighthouse, don't doubt your worth, number 20. I am always enough. I'm also taking this as the endpoint where to mean that you are a light worker and you're on this journey of opening yourself to your light worker abilities. So whatever shadow aspects you discover and work through are actually going to be things that you help heal and help other people other people navigate. And you have roses showing up here. Again, you also have a conch shell, crystal ball, so I want to say clairaudience is back, and so is clairvoyance. So actually having visions with your inner vision, not necessarily like you see this in the physical world, but like you tap into your intuition and meditation, you might see something visually. Same with dreams. So you've got a lot of guidance coming through on this journey. It makes sense if you're moving towards this journey of being a lighthouse yourself, being a light worker, that you have these clairvoyance, clairaudience, cognizance abilities, intuitive abilities to tap into, develop. That's where the spiritual community, and this could be in like an online spiritual community, it doesn't have to be in person, but they will help guide you. I would consider my spiritual community that helped me develop my abilities to start with was actually a podcast that I listened to for like a year before I did anything in person. So you can think of that as well as this broader sense of spiritual community. And the final message here is to be a lighthouse to yourself as much as you are to others, because you can. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. That is your cards, your reading for the Year of the Snake, and I'm wishing you the best Year of the Snake, wishing you so much love on your journey, and hoping you continue to work with love as well as you go through it. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, reading 2. So you were drawn to this card, Wild Energy, focusing your creative power, number 13. And you can see this woman has like sparks of magic coming out of her hands, and it's almost like she's planting them into the earth below. And to me, it looks like the snake is like her accomplice, her partner, kind of running through and making this magic happen. So I see the snake here spiritually. The snake almost looks kind of faded out of the scene. So it makes me think of almost like a spirit on this journey with you as this figure here, planting magic into the into the world. Oh, I did not mean to say word. So words, using your words might be really important here for your creative power. You might be writing, you might be speaking, creating a podcast, using your voice. Words could be really key to your creative power here. Coming through my automatic speaking. So another thing, so the snake here is on this journey with you, kind of helping to make this happen, helping to manifest this, working with you in the world to manifest this. So you're really kind of in a partnership in this creative power, focusing your creative power. You're working together with your spirit team on this, whatever you're bringing into the world. It's really exciting. It really feels like a lot has been building up to this moment. There's a lot of ideas that have been knocking around your head, maybe for the last year or two. A lot of material you've gained in the past to actually like put this into words or into a book. That's really coming in strongly for a lot of people. But words, can also mean music. It can mean like nonverbal communication too. So I think communication is the bigger message here of you focusing your creative power, your wild energy to bring about some sort of communication that the world has not seen yet. You have the unique message to put into the world. The last thing I want to mention here is the number 13, which speaks to me of the death and rebirth card. So I'm feeling that, as I say it, as a continuous cycle, not just a one-time transformation, but as a continuous cycle. It's like you're helping to cycle people through death and rebirth transitions over and over and over again. So you might be doing something to do with like rebirth, past lives is coming through. Maybe you're writing about your past lives. Maybe you're using automatic writing, because my automatic speaking has really kicked in for your reading. These are all clues, for you to take with as what resonates with you. You don't have to take it all, since it's a general reading. I'm kind of just receiving things and throwing them out there, and whatever is meaningful to you, tune into your own guidance to expand on that meaning, to kind of check in with your spirit guides. Okay, Shelley mentioned a spirit snake, and that's meaningful to me. So guides, what do I do with the spirit snake? And then maybe a spirit snake will show up, as a sign at some point, So this is all meant to be a starting conversation, a continued communication between you and your spirit team. This is just bringing to the front a few messages that we can get via the tarot cards. Yeah, so if you're not with the death and rebirth cycle, if you're not talking about rebirth and past lives, it could be more of like personal spiritual growth and transformations that are happening within a person's lifetime. But the key message I feel here, I don't know if I said it yet, is that you're helping to guide people through these, also it could be by sharing your own experiences, or sharing whatever knowledge you've accumulated and focusing your creative power to put that out in the world. Since we're talking about books and I have my deck here, Intuitive Student, it's like, I don't know if you can see, but these are all books. It's making me want to draw a couple cards for you from there. Hug from the universe because we care. Sweet. You're really doing important work. I will say, as a light worker, you see the sparks being planted. You're planting seeds that need to be planted here on earth for people, in people's souls and spirits. And so the universe is saying thank you for doing your work that you showed up for. So just keep being you, just keep doing your thing. And poetic justice. Wow, another writing kind of illusion here with poetry. The scales will find balance. So your words have a lot of weight, I want to say here, to helping to balance some sort of injustice, like social injustice. So when we talk about poetic justice, it's like justice if the legal system fails, for example, or doesn't recognize the injustice, like karmically or socially, or through universal energies, the scales balance out, and you're part of that mechanism, you're part of that action of helping to restore poetic justice into the world with this work that you're doing. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to pull tarot cards to get more message on this for you. I'm reading 2 with wild energy. Can we get more guidance? Anything they can be led by, look out for in the year of the snake ahead as they go about doing this important work. So I want to keep your wild energy visible somehow so we don't forget. I'll just put it up here. So you're getting Knight of Swords in reverse, the World in reverse, and the Fool. I love that the World popped out, and I kept saying the World, and this card, the wild energy, it looks like the world fully there, like you bringing your light work, planting seeds of light into the world. And it came out here, and so what I want to say with the World in reverse is literally like they were speaking about broader energies here and your role in helping to heal those. So the world is in reverse. The world is kind of upside down. The world is in need of healing, and you're here with your healing power, with your creative energy to help right that. And with the Fool here, it speaks to you as much as to the world, giving the world a fresh start with this healing, starting a new trajectory towards something more balanced, you know, with this poetic justice, more balanced than it was before, more loving and more supportive and more connected and more mutual, I want to say mutualistic, more these energies of working together. But this is also relevant for you as starting fresh with I will say with a new identity. So if you didn't see yourself as like a writer before, you're stepping into that identity now, maybe even professionally. So maybe you did writing on the side, but with the Fool, it's a fresh start. You're embracing that side of you. And the Fool card is a major arcana, so this is very much a bigger part of like the spiritual energies and your spiritual path, your life path, that you're really embracing like this next chapter, big chapter of your life path with the Fool. In this year of the snake. With the Knight of Swords in reverse, I'm feeling this as the energies of the world in reverse. People acting impulsively and acting on their impulses is kind of the negative energy that's keeping the imbalance going. And so you have something to do with healing that in others, individually and collectively, helping to heal the anger, the trolling, like the impulsive messaging, and like words that are being put into the internet. I kind of feel that with the universe here. Like those are many manifestations of negativity that keep getting put out there. So something you're doing is like helping to balance that out, the negativity. This is a really weird and specific example. I don't know, like so you can, it's an example to help you envision what this might mean for you more creatively. So there, what are they called? Like, I mean, there are chat bots, but there's like bots that like put comments out, right? So say for example, you create a bot that puts out positive comments, right? It's something creative like that doesn't exist probably yet, that like kind of helps to like counteract the frustration, the anger, the negative energies. There's something to do, like it could very much be to do with new media technologies, new ways of communicating. So I kept giving the example of a book, but maybe like you're sending out like poetic short videos into TikTok or YouTube or something, you know? Like I personally can attest that like I'm very grateful for what I find on YouTube or TikTok that's positive, that gives me a little bit of a brief positive perspective on the world. Like that's worth sharing, because sometimes that turns my whole perspective around, my whole day around, if I've been going through something rough. And likewise, if I encounter something negative, that can impact me as well. And I'm just one person. I'm super empathic and sensitive, so it impacts me a lot. But like I'm just one person. If this is happening to other people too, think of the collective impact that's making to turn the world upside down. So there's something you're able to do with your creativity and your words, no matter how small it feels. It's not small, and it's what you're meant to be doing here, and you're starting that or putting it together in a big way in the year of the snake. My hand is drawn to this self-love card, so I'm going to bring out one card. These are like all text, so I'm just going to read it and you can take that how it means for you. Oh, very straightforward. I have the power to make change. I love that. If you remember the visual of your first card, it's like somebody putting out, it looks like magic sparks into the world. So you do have the power. You have this power to make change. If you felt like you didn't, you do. I said I wasn't going to interpret that, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't need interpretation. And this was just kind of hanging out at the top of the deck. So I do want to bring this in too. It says, love is the most powerful healing force there is. I give it and accept it without limitation. So this is kind of like a footnote. This is the main message. This is the footnote if it's meaningful to you. This is the energies that I always choose to work with. Like before I start a reading, I always call in love, and I thought that was meaningful to bring in here for you as well. It might be useful for you to start in by calling in love as a universal energy to work with. I'm being drawn to this healing consciousness deck. So your message here is your path may be bumpy, but this will alter soon. So if you are encountering any starts and stops or resistance, particularly in the beginning, that won't last forever. Don't take it as a sign that this isn't meant to be. It's just kind of a natural start to a novel or rugged path. And then we have also, we have two of these. Believe in your own magic cards. Very appropriate for this reading. Number 37, gray endings are inevitable. Interesting. With the number 13 and the death and rebirth card. Endings are inevitable. You might really have to be starting course, because landing on the full too, for new shores, setting sail for new shores. On this journey, you might be making some big changes in your life. That might be referring to the bumpy, your path may be bumpy. So say, for example, as I was saying before, you didn't identify as a writer, and then now you submit a manuscript, it got it accepted, and now you're identifying as a writer professionally. It's going to end that other career, that other identity you had. And your cards here are saying the endings are inevitable as you set off for something new. And in the endings, the path may be bumpy in that transition moment, but then it will smooth out soon. And then last, you're getting number 20, lighthouse. Don't doubt your worth. I am always enough. So this did pop out in the first reading. So if you're drawn to that, I would recommend you go back and listen to that, only if you were drawn in the first place. But this was also the card we ended on, I think, in that last reading. And so I interpreted this to mean you are a light worker. I did say that in the beginning, so that's a confirmation there that you are a light worker. You are a lighthouse to others. Don't forget to be a lighthouse to yourself as well. And you have the power to make change, as your card said, and you are always enough. Don't doubt your worth, your ability as a light worker to do this. And you have your spirit team on your side in the year of the snake. And so I wanted to wish you so much love on that journey and hope you continue to work with love as well. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and I will see you in the next reading. Wishing you a happy year of the snake. Hi, reading 3. So you were drawn to this future self card for your year of the snake reading. And it says connecting with what's to come, number 39. I want to start off by saying 39 might be significant. You might see that showing up around you throughout the year. Throughout the past year, I kept seeing 39. And you might want to look up what that means as an angel number as well. So I just wanted to start with that. With the future self card, I'm interpreting this as taking time to envision what's possible in your future. So you have a very future-oriented energy already in your reading for Year of the Snake. So envisioning what could be possible, that's going to be a key part of connecting with your potential for this year, but also finding your guidance to lead you down the path towards manifesting what's possible for you as well. So I see these as spirits, like ancestor spirits, and then I see the snake as a spirit guide as well, like possibly a spirit animal for you. So the snake itself, I feel, is very significant as an animal that you're working with in the year of the snake. So future self, connecting with what's to come. You have a little bit of like psychic intuitive abilities to project and connect, and I feel like short amounts into the future. So it's kind of like you can navigate yourself through immediate energies safely to the other side to get to where you need to go. And so the message coming in there is to trust yourself when you feel like, you know, I think I need to change jobs now, you know, for example, and then you change your jobs and then you find like a month or two later that your previous company had shut down, you know. So you have these kind of predictive knowledges coming to you in the year of the snake from your future self. You're very much connecting with your future self this year, rather than other aspects that other people might be connecting to, say like their higher self or their inner child. You're connecting with your future self a lot, and so there's a reason for that. It's to help you in this year to get accomplished what you need to get yourself placed where you need to as well in the bigger spectrum of your life path. So I wanted to pull a couple, of cards here to get insights into what you're needing to know in that future projections. And time is coming up first. I want to get one more. I feel this one. Oh, toxic. So there is timing at play that your future self is going to help navigate you through. Kind of like the example that I gave you, the timing of avoiding certain things happening in your life, or putting yourself in place for good things to land on you. Paying attention to timing to make moves. And so the message there is acting on guidance when you receive it. So I feel like you're a little bit more used to connecting with your guidance. If you feel like this is very new to you, you might want to check a different reading, because I'm really feeling for this reading people who have established lines of communication with their spirit guidance, including their future self. And so you'll know very well to discern what is the guidance coming in for you. And so the guidance that you'll be getting specifically is around timing of things and toxic people or toxic situations. You'll be getting most of your messages from your future self regarding those things over the year. And so overall, like, not to put alarm bells, overall you can think of this as you are safe and protected by your future self and your spirit guidance during this year to navigate those things. So maybe strengthen your language of communication with your guides so that you can get those messages more readily, but it's going to happen. Like, you're going to get the guidance you need over the year. I want to actually go ahead with tarot cards at this point. Can we get more information for those in reading 3 to do with connecting with their future self in Year of the Snakes? This wanted to jump out, so I'm going to keep it there. I might keep it off to the side and incorporate that 6 of Swords in reverse. So, moving on from difficult situations and figuring out the timing of making those moves is really important here with the 6 of Swords in reverse and the timing card. So you might already know that you need to move on from a toxic situation, but you might need guidance on the timing of how to do that and when to do that. And that's where your future self comes in here. Page of Coins in reverse, High Priestess, and the Devil in reverse. We have a snake here. So it's kind of strange that I was mentioning the inner child. I was not intending, I was meant that as an example to talk about your future self. I was not intending it to be like incorporated into your message, but I am seeing it come through here with the 6 of Swords. Kind of, there's a child here being protected and taken to a safer situation, and the Page of Coins is child energy as well. And so with these two in reverse, it speaks to me about negative experiences in your childhood that are affecting your present and your future, being very significant and meaningful to think through at this time. With the Page of Coins, specifically the Page of Coins in reverse, you may be an earth sign, and that would be a confirmation to you. So that's Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. but it might speak to the energies of earth, earth energies of tending to your immediate environment, feeling safe in your immediate environment, being able to care for yourself or be cared for in a very physical way. These are things that didn't happen or have negatively impact you, that you carry with you now. So you may have grown up in neglect, or have grown up hungry. I'm so sorry for your situation. These are the types of things that I'm feeling with the Page of Coins in reverse with the Six of Swords. You may have been in a situation where you were put into foster care or put into the care of someone else when you were younger. And the way that it's coming up as meaningful now is that it has become a part of your identity, when your future self is saying that it doesn't need to stay your identity, though that was your experience at the time when you were a child, doesn't need to stay your identity now, that that's who you are. That's really what I'm seeing here with the Devil in reverse. So that's kind of the devil that's been haunting you, is like your sense of identity, your sense of who you are based on your past experiences, particularly childhood experiences, when really who you are is this High Priestess energy. There is a direct connection between what you experienced and how it has opened you up into the High Priestess energy. And I was mentioning before that this reading, it feels like it's people who already are in tune with their guidance, with their intuition, and it's really confirmed again with the High Priestess that this is you. You're meant to follow this High Priestess path. And part of your abilities were awoken during these difficult times. And so you can retain a sense of the difficulty kind of being meaningful in that way. But your future self is saying that you don't necessarily need to hold on to the identity anymore, because you have like opened up, you have like cracked open into your spiritual self. This year particularly is really when you're cracking it all open, letting the devil, go its own way. The card with the devil is the interpretation is typically that it's something that can be a behavior or something internal to you, something that you might be addicted to or feel captured by, but often by your own hand, because the meaning with the devil card is that the chains or the bonds or the addictions can be walked away from. It's within your control to do that, even if it's difficult. And those like very physical, mental, emotional mechanisms of addiction or compulsion or repetitive behavior are there. That's really the devil we're talking about here. Those patterns can be broken, and especially with your energy of the High Priestess facilitated with your future self and your spirit team, your guidance, your ancestor guidance, and your spirit animal of the snake coming up again here, you can shed those patterns, those internalized patterns, that you're kind of like, feels like you're kind of in a house of mirrors, repeating them, reflecting them, and repeating them over and over again. It just takes you to like break those mirrors or walk out of the mirror room, so that you can you're not kind of captured in a room of your own reflection. And then you can be in the world as this High Priestess, but it takes some connecting with your guidance to help navigate you out of that room of mirrors. If you can follow my metaphor, I don't know if people even go to the circus anymore, and like if they even have that room of mirrors, but that's the imagery that was being shown to me. I want to pull out one of these, if they'll show up. Oop, there we go. like-minded people, connect with other great minds. So, you know, connecting with a support group or people who understand the situation. It could be a therapist who could help, who has some training over, you know, like negative childhood experience, childhood trauma, for example, if that's your situation, or people who have experienced similar things. So say that maybe you survived war when you were a child, maybe connecting with a support group that you know, like it's one of those things where you have to live through it to understand, and you might be benefiting from connecting with other people who understand in that way at this time to help you navigate out of that house of mirrors. I want to pull a healing card and an animal card. Even though we've established the snake being very significant to your year, I wanted to pull another animal card. So your healing cards here says send out help to others. Interesting, landing on the Six of Swords reversed, almost like you are now this person rowing this child to shore. So for some people, for broadly, you're being encouraged to go through this transformation so that you can be the one to help others when you've healed. 7 might be significant for you. You might be life path 7. You might want to check that. If so, this is like a confirmation for you. But some of you might actually be working with children, because this is landing on the children card. So you might be helping children who have gone through negative experiences, or you might be just educating them in some way. This, whatever you're going through this year with your healing and your connecting to your future self, navigating through the year, it's also helping others around you, however that lands in your current life. So if you're already a teacher, or you're already helping others who aren't children, say you're a social worker, this is really going to be impacting the way that you can show up for them too. So as you're connecting with like-minded people and healing yourself, you're able to help others as well, which I feel is a big part of your mission, your reason for being here. It's helping you to do that. It's helping you to row people to safety much more effectively, and this is very fulfilling for you. Okay, let's get your animal card that's guiding you this year. Marten and Foxglove Mischief. I'm getting a message here, kind of like the toxicity and the timing and the future self, right? This animal, the marten, I've never seen one in real life, but it looks very attentive to me. It looks very perceptive and aware of its environment. And so this is the energies that you can tap into and tune into as you're tapping into your guidance to circumvent the mischief, to be aware of it, to see it coming way before anyone else sees it coming down the path. You know, this animal strikes me as a survivor, strikes me as super hypersensitive to its environment, to be able to take what is that word? It's a driving term where you like kind of take reaction actions. There's a word for it. Evasive actions. Yeah. Ahead of time. So that's definitely, you can think of the marten as your guidance energy, as well as the snake leading you through this year of the snake. And I wanted to just end by pulling 3 self-love cards, and these are just pure text cards. So I'm just going to read them out loud to help you see them, but please take these as they're landing exactly for you in your life. I am open and receptive to all good. I trust the intelligence within me. And I have respect for my body and I treat it well. I affirm positive things about my body and tell it I love it often. So that is your guidance and your messages for the year of the snake. I'm wishing you the best year ahead. Hoping you continue to work with love. Wishing you so much love on your journey. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes for the channel. And I will see you in the next reading. Hi, reading 4. So you were drawn to this card, grounding, rooting in the power of your purpose, number 3. And I just feel such a jubilant, strong, and sturdy energy coming from this card. Just an excitement of two different kind of extremes that I'm feeling. So I felt a small progression from reading 1 to 4 of spiritual growth and development. Just meaning how long each of us has been walking this path and the wisdom that we've accumulated till now, the different points we are in the path. For reading 4 in your group, I feel two extremes. I feel some people that are very far along in their spiritual path who know their purpose and are really taking this to the next level. Really kind of grounding to launch off to the big execution of your purpose in the physical world. And then on the other extreme, I am also tapping into people who are brand new. Welcome to your spiritual awakening and your spiritual path, and who have a sense of their purpose. They're awakening to you're awakening to your purpose, but you haven't yet gone through these steps that are ahead of you for your spiritual awakening and developing towards your purpose and your path. So the messages that will be coming in are meaningful for wherever you're at in your journey. Just wanted to say that there's a very positive and hopeful and energetic feeling to your year of the snake ahead, which is what the reading's about. The first thing that I noticed was the number 3. Ooh, that was my cat jumping in and out of a laundry bag. Nothing to worry about. Surprised me. I think she'll get out soon. But it made me think of the 3 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, working in communities. So community work is coming in, grounding into the community that you've chosen, and rooting into the power of your purpose for that community is the first message coming in. So if you have noticed, identified that for yourself and started working towards that, or if you've been working in that community for a while, this is really going to the next level for you in this year. I feel like that's all I need to say for this card starting off. The other thing I'll mention is the snake is very small, almost looks like a baby, almost looks like it's underground, developing, and so you can think of those like incubation energies too as with you for the year of the snake, something developing and being ready to be birthed into the world this year. I will say the whole incubation and birth period is on the parameters of the year of the snake. So I'm going to pull in some self-love cards. Just feel like bringing this in first. So these are texts, and so these are text-based messages. You can take them, interpret them however they're meaningful to you. I no longer judge or criticize myself. I am free to love who I am. That's important for you in the year of the snake. I was born to enjoy life. I love that theme of being born is coming up right after I mentioned that about the snake. And I accept all that I have created for myself, my past and my present. I am willing to allow my future to happen. Interesting. I actually have a culmination of the previous readings coming through in your reading. So if you're drawn to any of the previous readings, I would recommend you go and check that message as well. Because sorry, I got distracted by the bottom of the deck. I'll bring that up in a second. because you have this energy of the future self, which is one of the cards, was it? Yeah, future self there. Wild energy, which is about creation, which we talked about, birthing your project. And now allow, which was the first reading, accepting all parts of you, which comes up here, allowing your future to happen. So yeah, there's definitely that progression that I was tapping into being confirmed to me there. So if you were drawn to all the readings, then for sure this is your confirmation to watch all of them. There's messages in there for you, possibly to do with your whole journey or to different aspects of your journey. But I'm really interested in the message that came in here, not trying to interpret it too much. Again, let yourself interpret these as they land, but allowing the future to happen is a big part of your creative process in rooting into the power of your purpose. It's a less active sort of creation. It's more of the, I would say, the feminine body sort of creating, say, a child. You are taking care of yourself, you're eating healthy, staying positive, taking care of the baby, getting your checkups, right? But you're also just allowing the natural process to unfold. And I associate that with a very feminine version of creation. Not to box in like feminine, masculine, but just purely because of like the body's ability to birth. It's making me think of what's needed for that sort of creation to come into the world. That's the energy that you are tapped into here. Is all you have to do kind of is like reach out and keep the wheel turning and let things unfold as they need to. I got an image of like a community setting, right? As we mentioned before. Maybe all you need to do is get people into the same room regularly and let the magic unfold within those people from there, right? So you're creating transformation on a societal level simply by creating the appointments, creating the meeting space, facilitating discussion. And then there's some action needed to do that work, but then the transformational work that happens after happens within the people themselves individually and with each other. And that just unfolds organically on its own. You don't have to have a hand in that, right? So you're very much a catalyst energy in your purpose for this year and throughout the rest of your life. We're here with I was born to enjoy your life. Follow your joy. The things that give you joy, those are the things that are your purpose. A lot of you already know. But it's just a reminder to also enjoy the process, because that's a big point to having you here to do that. So however you can make that joyful to you, that's really important. I can give an example for myself. I'm a teacher, and there are times, honestly, where it feels like a job, even though I know that's my passion and my purpose. And so I was really struggling the last semester, and I didn't want that to be the case. I was really sad, and I wanted to reconnect to that feeling of showing up to class, feeling like it's my purpose for myself and for the students too. I wanted to draw the magic into the learning setting. And so before each class, very intentionally, I would do like a very quick meditation for myself and visualize myself drawing in the magic, letting myself fill up with the universal magic so that I could share it in the classroom. And it worked. It helped. It really, I was able to, if I thought of it that way, as myself as a catalyst or a conduit for the universal energies for learning, then it helped the flow of that much better. It took the stress of like the idea of teaching as this thing that I have to show up and labor for every day. It took that away because it was, again, this passive creation. I was the catalyst, tapping into the universal energy, allowing it to flow into the classroom. So this is what's being recommended to you, because whether you're just starting out or you are pretty far on your path, you either now have the ability, or you're on your way to developing this ability to tap in and be the catalyst. And that's all you really need. That's all people need you to be. Yeah, you don't need to fret about, like, am I doing enough? Do I need to do more? What you've created is enough, and allowing the future to happen, being that conduit, is what you can focus on for this year and going forward as well. I want to pull, oh, you got a couple of these. I do want to take them all. A spiritual hug, love that, number 19. It's making me think of the Sun card in tarot too. Just the joy, just the little things, the joy of connection. Let me just check that you can see this writing. Oh, there we go. You have the power to make yourself better, number 3 again. So there's something here about you healing yourself that's connected to you and your purpose of helping to heal others. Just don't forget yourself and self-empowerment to heal yourself. I think that you're empowering others in this way, in your purpose as well. This is like another womb, right? Another womb imagery. Yeah, so this snake is this incubation period is also for you to just like kind of rest, receive the thanks from the universe, receive the hug of support, just feel that supportive energy. So I feel like maybe you've been focused on putting out energy a lot in past years or maybe more, and now is the time for you to like slip into that safe space, the hug, and let the universe support you. Again, that more passive receiving and catalyst, conduit type of energy. Share the gift, number 4. So I'm definitely getting like healer vibes from you, and so this could be physically like using Reiki, energy healing, or any kinds of other energy healing you can think of, but it could be other kind of healing too. So I consider my teaching to be healing, or that's what I intend. I consider myself a healer through education. And so however that's landing for you, where your healing abilities go, this is another community card. Yeah, connecting yourself to others, sharing the gift of self-empowerment really is the gift that you've cultivated for yourself, sharing that with others, teaching or showing others how to empower themselves, or simply just being around them helps them open up to their ability to empower themselves. I'm gonna get the tarot cards now, so any messages for our reading 4 to be guided by in the year of the snake. As I'm shuffling, I just remembered that I mentioned the bottom of the deck of the self-love cards, and this is actually a card I got for myself, so it means I am in this deck with you too. And if this is meaningful to you, the card says, I use my words and thoughts as tools to shape my future. Okay, so you're breaking here. 10 of Swords in reverse, King of Coins in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, 2 of Swords in reverse. So it's very striking, right, that it's all reverse. And I'm actually reading this as, especially if you're at that advanced part in your path, and maybe you've been doing a lot of ego work. This is kind of the last bits of breaking down that ego in a very loving way, so that you can release your spiritual self into the world. The ego is, the way I read it, is this, I follow other interpretations of the ego to be this thing where psychologically it's like it creates safety in a chaotic world, but it can also be limiting and inflexible in enjoying all aspects of life. And especially if you're on the spiritual growth, breaking down and letting go of the ego is a very important part of allowing space for this more spiritual way of connecting into the universal flows. So the ego wants to control, wants to manage the environment around it, but the spiritual self is more in tune with universal flows and can navigate it. So where the ego would be limited in being able to like avail of those universal flows, and it would just want to create a safe space, the spiritual self can expand with those universal flows. So I see this as what's being offered to you this year, and these are the things toward breaking down that ego to release your spiritual self. So with the Ten of Swords reverse, I'm seeing this as okay, I'm actually seeing this with the King of Coins to do something with status and identity and success in the world, that being a mechanism of your ego that is holding you back from your spiritual growth. So if you are dedicating a lot of energies towards financial success, for the sake of success, that's one of the things that is distracting you and holding you back, and that's one of the things that can be dissolved this year. This is a big transformation for the ego, actually, but I think it's because you're really being called to step into your right here, right, rooted in your purpose. Grounding yourself and rooting in your purpose this year essentially means getting out of that ego shell, so that you can really do that in a important way. So something about your identity and your commitments to like status and success in the world, you're hitting some kind of rock bottom with that. You're finally able to let it go. You have opportunity to do that in the year of the snake. Here also, you're able to, right here, like you have the power to make yourself better. You have the power to heal yourself with self-love. I see the Ace of Cups as a focus on taking these opportunities that are handed to you to fill your own cup, to love yourself. That's going to also help break the strength of the ego that you carry in the world based on your past experiences and worldviews. There's no judgment there. It's just kind of something we all have and we all develop as humans on earth, and one of the things when you're spiritually growing that can be dissolved lovingly over time. And with the Two of Swords in reverse, this is also your ego blocking you from your guidance and keeping you unclear of which way to go. Whereas if you're able to tune into your guidance, you wouldn't linger so much in this indecisive energy. So that's another function of your ego that can be dissolved in the year of the snake. So what did we have here? Identity. I would also say like overblown worries, like catastrophic worries, like worries of the apocalypse coming. Those are like overblown functions of the ego that are limiting you. Your identities of like status and success, your energies driving you towards there, your ability to love yourself, and your abilities to let go of the ego, to tune in to guidance beyond yourself, is really important. If you feel like you still rely a lot on like logical tools to make decisions, yes, that's important, but this would indicate like an over-reliance on that to the point that it contradicts with your intuition, and that's kind of what keeps you in this indecisive state. So being able to lean more and trust more on your intuitive knowing is going to be important there. Let's see, what do I want to end on here? On the bottom of the deck here is spiritual, so very much your spiritual journey. I want to pull one of these cards to fit in our little pocket here. Ooh, actually two is coming up. So we have change and strength. So you're very much transforming into your strength and your purpose this year. So any changes that come up, just remember that it's meant to develop your strength in rooting into your purpose. It's grounding you where you need to be. And maybe I'll just end off with this Be Your Own Magic card. And then make sure, okay, this one really wants to come out. This is you. Ooh, 45, Throne. Your potential is endless. And this card was persistent. It popped up when I first shuffled, and I felt like insecure, so I put it back in, and then it popped out again. It stuck to my pinky, so I took it as a sign that it really wanted to come out. And so like I'm very glad that you're getting this card, Throne. Your potential is endless. You're really reaching that point where you are rooting into your purpose and you're taking command, taking a leadership role there. You're very much settling into your spiritual self with this breaking down of the ego that you just kind of work throughout the year. But also the way that this card came out, I think is significant, that you might encounter moments where you feel insecure, and like with the Two of Swords in reverse here, you push that calling away. The calling will come back to you. It'll stick to your pinky. That calling sticks to you. Your purpose sticks to you. It'll come back, and you will gradually make your way to that throne. And so I'm going to end your reading there. I'm wishing you the best, Year of the Snake, wishing you love on your journey, and hoping you continue to work with love as well. Thank you for any likes, share, and subscribes, and I will see you in the next reading.